Hello there and welcome to a brand new show and a brand new company joining us here at Hochanda called piececool. And what piececool do, they bring us some incredible three-dimensional models at incredibly affordable prices. Now you can see this gorgeous peacock here with all those beautiful colours. Well, the thing is, they are already coloured for you to put together and construct, and then you are making the most incredible piece. I mean, you look at this, it's a real work of art, and it all starts life as these amazing sheets, as you can see here, and then you create it yourself at home following those instructions. Now we know this is going to be a busy hour because we've been busy with regards to these before we even came to air, and already nearly 20% of the stock of this gorgeous peacock has gone, and you can see there how these are all cut ready for you to get started. Now, needless to say, brand new company brings us a brand new guest, and may I introduce to you the lovely Ed. And Ed, you're going to be teaching us all about these and how to put these together. But first, tell us a little bit about piececool and how you came to be here, really.
It's a long story how I came to be here.
Okay,
piececool are a manufacturer of metal model kits. We've been around for quite a long time now. And we have about 140 models in the range.
Oh, wow.
And the really neat thing about the product is it's something which we've developed ourselves. So these are photo etched and screen printed with a highly accurate process, which gives them the wonderful finish that you see over there. And we have in the range everything from animals, so the peacock, the macaw, the rose, which we've got down at this end.
The rose is incredible.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, really nice. And we've got military models as well, so we've got boats, planes, cars, lots and lots of stuff, aimed at every kind of skill level you can imagine. So the kits can be built, the quickest build we're aware of, there's someone in the office who can build a rose in 15 minutes.
My goodness, wow.
Takes us a lot longer. Through to something like the Battleship that we'll show people, which takes sort of 20 plus, 22 hours plus.
But these are things that you're going to take pleasure in putting together. It's not, you're not trying to win a race with these.
No,
you're building something and kind of absorbing the whole experience.
Yeah. It's all about crafting and creativity and really enjoying the process of the build, and then you end up with something which is highly decorative as well, that you're going to happy to have on display around the house. Exactly.
Now, talking about display, we have got display boxes for some of these as well, but I'll tell you about those as we go. But age-wise, what sort of age are we looking at? I know it's always a tricky one to put ages on things, but what would you say?
13 up.
Oh, okay.
Really.
Yeah.
Depends on the model, but some of them, as I say, are really easy but very enjoyable builds, and anyone could crack on with those.
And it's nice sometimes because you might have a partnership between, I don't know, a nephew and an uncle, or a child and a grandparent, and
Absolutely, yeah. And some of the, really the difficulty of the models goes up with the number of components in them as well. So I can't remember how many pieces are in the rose, but it's a small kit. The battleships will have a couple of 100 pieces in, and there's other parts of our range we're not showing today, which will have 300 or 400.
And I think it's the peacock you're going to show us when we come to the demonstration in a little while. Lovely. Well, shall I show everybody what we've got? Because we're busy already. So here we go. Let me bring my trusty piece of card in to show you, because with these you will notice how much incredible detail that you have got with these. Absolutely beautifully etched, as you can see there, and you'll see those little tiny nuggets there where they're connected to the main piece there. But of course we'll learn from Ed in a little while how you kind of disconnect those and how it all comes together. Again, the intricacy that you've got from these, the attention to detail that have been put into these, the feathers. I'm going to try and hold this as close as still as I possibly can. Marcus, can you see those feathers there? The little tiny, I don't even know what it's called. It's kind of like the little kind of quills that you get on a feather, isn't it? The etched detail.
That's it.
Absolutely phenomenal. And of course, once you put all these pieces together, the peacock by the side of me stands majestically, as you can see with this one. Now, this one is standing on a little mount. Does the kind of the mount come with it, or is that something you source yourself?
No, but everything that you see there is in the box.
Wow. That is beautiful, absolute work of art. And as Ed said, comes beautifully packaged within a box. You've got everything you need. If I just turn that around, you'll be able to see there, you've got your 5 sheets that we've just been referencing there, with all the different elements, the components that come together, and you can see there all the information that you need, including the sizes with this one as well, giving you that beautiful, gorgeous look there all together. And as you can see there, no glue needed as well. Can't wait to see these in action. Now, forgot to mention, we have got extended delivery with regards to these. It's only a couple of weeks. We're looking at the 15th of November, but sorry, 16th, I apologise. But bear in mind, plenty of time if you are thinking of Christmas gifts for people, or maybe a little treat for yourself with the winter evenings. Now, the display boxes, we've got a variety of different sizes, so very quickly I will tell you about these, or I'll get Ed to tell you anyway. So Ed, display boxes, as it mentions there, somewhere for us to kind of put these pieces?
Yes, so the display boxes in there, there are some incredibly accurately cut pieces of acrylic, which are designed, you fit them together, and they are, each display box is individually sized to fit certain models. So if you're going to put a model on display and you want to keep it free of dust, then the display box is the way
Wonderful.
to go.
And I'll try and keep you informed on these, because on these they have got like a little kind of key on the back that will tell you. The Peacock doesn't have a display box because it just looks so gorgeous as it is. So it's just proud, just standing on his little perch there, as you can see. And with these you have got protective layers on this, because at first I looked at these and thought, well, if it's an MDF box, you're not going to see much within there, are you? But you have got the protective layers on here. I'm going to peel them back. You can just about see that, some kind of darker perspex on this one. And of course, you've got your acrylic perspex, which you can kind of see between those layers there. So that obviously is protecting them because you don't want them to be scratched. This particular box that we've got here is number 21, which works beautifully, I think. Well, I'll tell you which one it works with in a few moments, because the next one, I think it's a different number, but I'll tell you about that in a moment. So if you're wanting your boxes, do have a little look at those. £38.99 being that one, and I think that's pretty much one of the largest ones that we've got, but we'll look at those as we go on. Now the Battleship, oh my goodness, not the Battleship, should I say, the Black, was it Black Pearl what this one was called?
It is, yeah.
Black Pearl, look at this. Let me just move these to the side as well. I mean, look at that. That looks incredible. I'm absolutely terrified to touch anything, I'm not going to lie, Ed.
You'll be fine picking that up.
Are you sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have they warned you about me? Because I'm the clumsiest presenter out. I mean, all the rigging and everything that you've got in here.
Yeah, that's one of the things we're most proud of, is the amount of detail that we can bring to the model. So the manufacturing process has been honed and honed and honed. I think it took 3 years to get from the idea to it being, as you know, so we were happy enough to release it. Well,
that's the key thing. It's about being happy, like you say, to release it. And here, can I just show you? Here you go. There you go. You've got the rigging, you've got the sails. I sound as if I know what the parts of a boat. I'm not. I just know little bits of it. There you go. Look at that again with those connectives there, those little tiny elements. Of course, you've got all the other elements there as well, even down to, and I love this, you've got the skull and crossbones featuring on this as well. And they all come together beautifully without any need for glue. £12.99 for that one. How do they manage to do that? It's incredible. And needless to say, we're busy for this one as well. Rapidly approaching a quarter of the stock has gone of this particular one. So the Black Pearl there, as you can see, kit number 44. Now, I haven't got a box size on this particular one, I don't think. But again, it's one that you possibly wouldn't want to put in a box anyway. But there you go. Details if you fancy getting hold of that one on your screen there. 286609. Then we have another of those fabulous boxes that you can get hold of. This particular one here, again, it's a taller box, I suppose, with this one. Although we haven't actually got a box size on the Black Pearl, if I bring in the base and I try to... Okay, come on, Hayley, you can do this.
You'll be fine.
You can do this. There we go. That would sit in there beautifully, wouldn't it? Oh, yes. That's the right size. And then, of course, these pieces would be your side panels to sit on there. So you can see you have got plenty of room for it to be encapsulated in that one. This particular box is box number 14, £17.99. So if you do want to go for the Black Pearl, that's £12.99 as a kit form at the bottom of the screen, and then £17.99 for your perspex box to go with that one. Very carefully move that one back again. But as I do that, check out the next kit that we've got, the absolutely beautiful Macaw. If you like the look of the Peacock, then I think you're going to love this particular one. This one just looks like it's taking flight.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's really
phenomenal, cool. Phenomenal detail. Am I okay to rotate this one around to show you?
They're remarkably solid models.
Look at this, my goodness. And I think it's the thing that they're made out of, the metal. What type of metal is it, do you know?
That's brass. So all our kits are either made from brass and or stainless steel. So the Battleship has both types of metal in it.
But that,
and
look at that.
the Macaw's all brass with the screen printing on top of it.
And I think this is the key thing, that screen printing has been done, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's all done.
It saves loads of time, and you get a result you absolutely couldn't get unless you were an expert airbrush artist. So
this is it, the facial features, that's the key thing. That would be the telltale sign, isn't it?
He's a really cheeky chappy, that one as well.
Isn't he just? Yeah. Absolutely. And as you can see, their body and everything, even down to the feet there. I mean, you can see the feet with the claws, all that detail that you would want from an absolutely spot-on model you have got with this. Again, you've got all of those sheets. I'll just bring one of those sheets in just to show you again with a piece of card behind there showing you they're all die cut. There's no bits to pop out of these. You just simply snip these, as Ed will show us in a few moments. And again, it's all been screen printed, so it has got all that detail on there ready to go. Again, beautifully boxed. This one is made up over 4 sheets. And again, there's no glue needed. You just snip it out and put it all together there. I love that one. There you go. If you fancy getting hold of that one, £24.99 is your price. Now, if you fancy something of a military nature, then this is definitely the one for you. And this one is a really grand piece. This one is HMS Prince of Wales, a good size piece with this one. And I think this one, if I remember rightly, fits into the 20 box, which is the one item that we've got coming up afterwards.
Cool.
So if you're wanting to put this into a display box, but my goodness, look at it. Now I'm just going to very carefully tilt this so you can have a little look. I'm breaking into a sweat, I'm not going to lie.
It's fine, that was it's nice and solid.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got all the is it, I don't know what they're called, the gunny things.
The armament. Yeah.
The armament,
Yeah.
that's it.
So
I'm not an expert, can you tell?
It's coming across, yeah. That is a long but really enjoyable build, that one. I think in terms of the return on the price, that's exceptional value.
Phenomenal.
For money.
I mean, if you were to price this in the hours of pleasure that you're going to get putting this together against that £24.99 price, phenomenal. Again, everything screen printed, and again, I'm going to bring in a piece of paper to show you these tiny, tiny pieces. Tiny pieces, but all cut. And they're all secure as well. That's the key thing. I'm picking these up, nothing's falling away.
No, it absolutely won't. So they're not cut, they're laser etched, which gives us way more control over the manufacturing process than anything else would. And they're absolutely solid in there until you cut them out.
Beautiful. So it was, that's the HMS Prince of Wales, if you're wanting that one. As I mentioned, display box, we've got that available for you as well. Similar sort of style to the others, where you've got that black perspex being the base, where you're going to obviously put your gorgeous model, and then of course you've got the perspex sides that are going to protect it. And the boxes, do they have a lid on there as well to protect it from the top?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 5 pieces of acrylic, and then there's a wooden base.
Wonderful. There you go. So if you fancy that one, if you're wanting number 20, that's the one to work with HMS Prince of Wales at the bottom of your screen. Now, these ones are beautiful. These ones have got a real sense of kind of Victorian times about them, this particular one here, especially the carousel, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Again, the detail with these. Now, with these, obviously you're going to be able to create these, but if I carefully rotate that, even the little tiny carriages, absolutely amazing. And again, I was just thinking about if you've got one of those display turners, that battery-operated ones that rotate them.
Yeah, they're really good. And that's a really popular model for decorative use around Christmas as well.
Gorgeous, beautiful. Now this particular one, it sits in the box number 18, which is the next box that we'll be sharing with you. So if you do want to get hold of a box to display it in, but again, the detail that you've got, absolutely phenomenal, as you can see within there, all that die cutting and screen printing already done for you. So there you go. £23.99, 488 488. If you want the merry-go-round, the details are on your screen. And again, with that one, another fabulous, I mean, it says from the age 14 plus, but what a memory piece to create, gorgeous. The box as well, display box, as we mentioned, number 18, that's the next one that we've got here. So if you do want the display box to go with your little merry-go-round, then the details are on your screen, £19.99 for that one. But the next piece that we're going to share with you, oh my goodness, the rose. This is absolutely beautiful. And you were saying that this one is potentially one of the simplest ones because only the 2 sheets in there. Absolutely.
And what I really enjoy about this is the fact that, I mean, in real life, any rose is going to be unique, but you can do the same thing with this. You follow the instructions, but you can make every single one your own and you shape it the way you want to.
Gorgeous.
So it's not unusual for people to buy 2 or 3 of them.
Oh yeah, I can understand. And they're very affordable, £21.99, very affordable. And of course it's something that you can be able to keep forever, isn't it? Again, have a look at the detail that you've got within these petals. all die cut there, absolutely beautiful. The detail that's etched in there, and of course the beauty is that you're paying just £21.99, 690056. Now when you come to check out your order for whichever of these models you've chosen to go for, there are some tools that you may see pop up. Well, in fact you will, because these are they. And these are going to be the tools that are going to help you create with these. Now you can add these in for no additional post unpacking, so whether you need to go for your pliers or your cutters, or you want to go for that deluxe kit, then they are all there ready for you to add into your basket there. No additional post unpacking, starting from £5.49, as you can see there. And of course they will come alongside any of those goodies that you order. But what I want to know is, how simple is it for these to come together, Ed?
Incredibly easy.
Okay, do you want to show us?
Absolutely, I will. What I'm going to do is just show you some of the stuff that comes in the kit as well. You've shown it, but I just want to go through the detail here. So when you open up the box, you're going to get your sheets, which we have here, and you get a set of instructions. The instructions are really, really excellent. They're some of the best that I've seen anywhere. The critical thing that comes is a sheet which helps you identify the parts. Okay, so you have a sheet which identifies the carrier sheets. What I like to do is to lay them out. So I'm in order. This is 5 sheets, sheets A, B, C, D and E. On the instructions, we have an intro, and it's like all instructions, it's always worth reading before you get started, just to familiarise yourself. But we cover off some critical things, just the simple things you need to know about piececool. This piece that I'm holding up here is a little rubber sticker which goes at the bottom of the peacock's pedestal, so it doesn't slip. Yeah. So I'll put that to one side. So on the instructions here, we tell you you only need 2 things, which are a set of pliers, needle nose pliers, which most crafters are going to have anyway, especially if you're into beadwork, and a set of clippers. Now we sell these, I think we're selling both sets.
That's right, they're just as you come to check out your order, you can add them into your basket. So yeah, we have got those.
So we've got the 2 different sizes. We have the professional ones, which are great for larger hands like mine, and then we call these the beginner ones, which are great if you've got small hands. Lovely. You absolutely do need the pliers and some cutters.
So some of our viewers might be tempted to think, well, can I snip them with scissors and things like that?
I don't think scissors would do it. You could
probably
try.
damage your scissors, to be honest, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, that's a possibility. You need some side cutters of some sort. I know some people
need a nice clean cut with them.
Yeah, and the ones which we sell here are especially milled and ground to cut into the sheets.
Very affordable as well, as we saw.
They are. I'm surprised at the price we're managing to do on these. The other tools which you don't have to have, but which are quite useful, are the auxiliary tools, which are these little round pieces. Now these are particularly useful if you're working on the military models where there's lots of funnels to create lots of tubes, so you can use these as bending formers. There's one of these I use a lot when I'm building the peacock, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And there's a big tool here which has got a specially milled tiny slot in both ends, which is great for one of the 2 joining techniques which we have.
Okay.
And again, the instructions show you this, but there are only 2 techniques to know about. So all the models go together with a tab going into a slot, and the instructions will show you either a little blue dot or a little green triangle. If you see a blue dot, all you have to do is to bend over the tab and fold it flat. If you see a triangle, you have to twist it 90 degrees, no less, no more. That's all you need to do, and you get a phenomenal joint. So I'm just going to show you how that works.
Yeah, please do.
So here's one I made earlier. I've always wanted to say that. This is part of the pedestal.
Okay.
I'm just going to turn my lamp on. This magnifying lamp is by no means essential, but if your eyes are like mine, it's very handy. I don't know if you can see down on the camera here. Everything goes together with a little tab going into a little slot. And in this particular part of the model, all we have to do, I've already put this together, but I haven't firmed it up. All you have to do to make it solid is to bend the tab in. So I'm doing that there. Again there. And it really doesn't take any pressure at all to do this. And
like you say, you're just kind of pressing it gently, not having to take any pliers and kind of really manhandle it into place.
No, manhandling it is not required, but it's incredibly firm.
Yeah.
At the end of it, it's really, really solid. As you can see there, I mean, I'm giving that quite a strong tug. So that's the basic joining thing, which is a bend or a fold. So all the parts need some amount of shaping at some point during the process. So on the carrier sheet, which you see here, everything, you've pointed this out, everything is held on by tiny little triangular tabs, and those are the bits which you need to snip to cut through. And the easiest way to do this, to prevent scratching or the risk of damaging the surface, is if you can identify the part from behind, cut from the back. You absolutely don't have to, and it's just as simple.
Snip, snip.
Working my way around.
So do you leave them in the carrier sheet until you get to the position in the instructions to separate them?
It's up to you. I like to get everything out and ready.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's the kind of person that I am. That'll surprise my wife if she's watching, but I do like to be
See,
prepared.
I'd be the opposite way around. I'd lose something. Yeah. I know I would straight away. Well, so I'd leave them in place and snip them as I need them. Horses for courses.
Yeah, the instructions are all step by step, so it's worth looking at each section and then working out the parts that you need for it, and then cutting them out.
Okay. So
cutting out's the easy bit. And then you have forming. So you can see here that I've actually already bent this piece up. Now there are two ways to move any piece. The obvious one is to use your fingers, and the metal is really soft and pliable, so you can use your hands, but it's far easier and more accurate to use the pliers.
Okay.
And you can see in this case that the fold lines are really clearly indicated.
Well, there's little tiny dots there helping you.
Yeah, these are etched all the way through.
Yeah.
So it's easy to go. So this piece, I'm not going to make all of it because it'll take a while, but what we have to do here is to bend the tabs over and get them to fit into the slots.
Okay.
So what you do, it's a matter of grabbing the tab, and it's a gentle fold over. You don't want to do this hard and fast because that puts a bit of stress into the material. And at the end of the day, we're here to have fun, yeah? There's no need to be rushing this.
And they're the tiniest. I mean, I've got the piece here, and I thought, well, I'll show you the piece that Ed's working with, because it's such a tiny piece. But I don't know whether you'll see any better with my fingers pointing at them here. But you've got the tiniest piece. I mean, that entire piece is a piece that Ed's working on, and obviously he's kind of curved it. But then you've got the little tiny notches there, right at the can you see that little tiny notch just where my fingertip is there? The smallest amount will slot into that next slot there and keep it all together. But of course, there's no glue needed. You pop that in, and that is going to be the bit that holds it together, and creates that fabulous base that you've got there. It's so difficult to show because our fingers are so big in comparison with these pieces. It
is a great way to build because you haven't got any glue slopping around all over the place, which I've never enjoyed. So there you go. You can see that I've got two of the tabs through.
Oh, you can see
in
the
this
tabs
case again,
there, yes.
It's just a quick bend. You can see, you might be able to see that I've just slotted this tool over the end of the tab.
Yep.
And that gives me enough to bend it over to start the bend, and I just use my finger as an anvil, just push against it. There you go. And you can see, so if I was building the whole thing, I'd work my way around this.
Okay.
And then that actually fits on top of the pedestal. So I will finish this later. There you go. So there are four tabs going to 4 holes. Now this is the other joining technique I'm going to show you now. Ooh,
okay.
It's fallen off.
That's okay.
Clumsy me, eh?
But it shows it's sturdy because it hasn't fallen apart at all. So.
Well, that's the build quality. Anything that comes off my kitchen table will be firmly built, I guarantee.
So that's kind of pushed now into the little slots of that piece.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So now what we need to do, in this case, the instructions for this step will indicate the triangle, which is the twist.
Okay.
So all I have to do, grab that, and it's a 90-degree twist, so a quarter of a turn.
Yeah.
And that is all that's required. And
so that's kind of like a lock system.
Exactly. And it's a really, really, really solid join. I'm going to show you building part of the peacock's tail later on, which uses exactly the same join.
Okay.
And at that point, it's worth giving the tab a little tug as well, which actually makes the parts tighter. In this case, I happen to know, because I've done this a few times, that I don't have to do that. So that is now rock solid. That's hanging off there, no problems whatsoever.
My goodness.
So what I'd be doing, if we're doing the whole thing, I'm going to work my way around that, finish that off, and then this is what the peacock's going to sit on top of.
I love it. So yeah, that's the starting point of your peacock, because of course it comes with that fabulous stand. That's exactly what Ed's been showing us. So very, very carefully, the base that you've got here, beautifully ornate base, where you've got that gorgeous kind of etched detail in there, that screen printing actually onto the metal. So as you haven't got to do anything, you haven't got to paint, you haven't got to glue, but look at the detail that you've got in there. I mean, this is absolutely amazing, the detail that you've got. But very easily, you're taking those little tabs and you're folding those tabs over to put all of those pieces in place. Now with the tail, when you're looking at the tail, you might think to yourself, well, hang on a minute, have I got to do that for every single one of those feathers? Well, the good news is you don't have to, because the way that this has been put together is beautifully engineered. Such a clever way of putting these together that you've almost got kind of rows of feathers that you can see there. They're all etched. When I move the paper away, you'll see how you've got those gaps in between there. So it's incredible detail right the way through, which means that when you're bringing it together, then you've got that beautiful look. Reminds me of, do you remember Professor Waffle in Bagpuss? It's very similar to that kind of idea, isn't it? Was it Yaffle, not Waffle? I'm getting a bit peckish, sorry, I'm thinking of waffles. But it just looks amazing because it's got that mechanical look to it. And again, every last detail, whether it's the base that you're creating, whether you're going onto the main body, whether you are creating, I'm going to be so careful when I turn this round because I don't want to do any damage to it at all. But look at that tail that you've got there with all of those beautiful peacock eyes coming through. I mean, this is going to be a work of art when you created it. But you can see there, £25.99, an incredibly affordable way for you to get hold of those sheets. 5 sheets, that's all it takes to make this piece, but what an amazing piece it is when it is finished. The detail, the way that they've captured the feathers, not only on the tail, but also on the body, and the little crown that you've got there, absolutely beautiful. Such an affordable way to get hold of these, and at £25.99, 261527 if you're wanting to get hold of these. Piececool as well, check out that name. I'm sure you'll be able to find loads of tutorials, loads of social media helping you along the way, but of course you've got those comprehensive instructions that are going to help you as well. The next one that we've got is the most incredible ship. This one is the Black Pearl. The Black Pearl with the skull and crossbones on this particular one as well. But isn't it beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous here. You can see with regard to this one, the overall size when the model is made is only 14 centimetres long, just over 12 centimetres high, and then the width of it just 4.5 centimetres. So you can see the detail that you've got on the box there, incredible. And again, the detail that you've got from the actual boat, from the rigging there, as you can see, the little tiny flag at the top of the mast there, the way that all of the different kind of sails kind of bow and fold. Absolutely amazing, even down to there you go, another skull and crossbones feature there, but absolutely incredible right the way through. The amount of detail, phenomenal, and all done on those beautifully etched sheets that literally slot together in a variety of different ways with those little tabs to secure them in place. Again, a very affordable one at £12.99 if you fancy that one. The details are there, 286609. Now the next one is the Macaw, and again this is a beautiful piece, a large piece again, where you've got that gorgeous expanse of wing on this one, which is showing you all those gorgeous feathers again. The screen printing that's been done onto the metal, and on this occasion you're looking at brass, you can see the way that you still got that shimmer coming through that gorgeous screen print in there to show you how amazing it is. Now, similar to the peacock, you've kind of got those feathers coming together in almost like kind of ribbons. So you're not putting them on individually, but they almost look as if you have put them on individually. The tail feathers there as well, and as I turn it around, the face, this has already been done for you. You don't have to paint anything on there, because that would be my worst nightmare, trying to put a face on something as beautiful as as this, but it's all done for you. It's all on those sheets. And again, only 4 sheets within this one. And at £24.99, I think this is going to be a beautiful one. You've even got the stand when you get this home as well, so it's going to sit on that stand beautifully. 292505 if you're wanting to get hold of that one. Now, of course, we were looking at the black pearl earlier on, but if you like things of a military kind of nature, then this is the one for you. This one is the HMS Prince of Wales, so obviously it's a replication of the original. Yeah, it's bigger than this in real life. And you can see that you've got all the detail that you would expect from a replication model. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, there's so many beautiful little tiny elements in here that, I mean, I've no idea what they're called, but it looks incredible. Absolutely amazing. £24.99. Again, you've got all the sheets there. This particular one, we have got a display box that you can go for, which I'll show you in a little while. And some of these, we have got display boxes, which are perspex lidded boxes, where you can really showcase these pieces to their best potential. So 751386. The box for this particular one is number 20, if you are looking on the internet for that particular one there. 751386. Next one that we've got for you, again, a beautiful model on a smaller scale this time, but it's the little merry-go-round carousel, and it is beautiful again. Again, you've got that kind of red and green, very traditional, very Victorian look to this particular one. But again, the amount of detail you've got from the carriages, from the horses that are featuring within here, and again, a lovely one potentially that you could be bringing out at Christmas time. This one, there is a box that you might want to display it in, and on that particular case, it's box number 18, which again, you will find on the website. And again, it's a beautiful way for you to display that piece. Gorgeous. That's the kind of thing that'd be lovely to make for a baby's first Christmas and then bring it out every Christmas thereafter. Gorgeous. Now the next one. The next one is a beautiful rose. That's got a kind of fairy tale look to it. I think you'll agree with this one. But you've got the amazing kind of filigree work going on with the leaves, the petals as well. The amount of detail in this one is beautiful. And this one, I think if you've got somebody that perhaps is celebrating a golden wedding, then I think this would be a lovely way for you to create something for them that they could keep. Now, again, it's one of those ones that you could make several of these, put them in a bouquet together perhaps, or, I don't know, display it in whichever way you like. If you've got little bud vase, I mean, this would look beautiful. There's only a couple of sheets with regard to this one, and don't forget the world record for putting one of these together is 15 minutes. So if you do any quicker than that, let piececool know, and yeah, they'll put you in their book. Yeah, it's not about you're higher than, yes, definitely. It's not about the speed that you're putting these together. It's a case of enjoying the process. I think that's the beauty with these. And yeah, again, so if you're wanting this one, £21.99. 690056. £21.99. As I say, some of those do have boxes that go with them. Check them out on the website. Also keep an eye open for those tools that Ed has been using throughout. And we're going to go back over to Ed now and see how he's getting on with the peacock feathers.
Well, there you go. I've finished putting the pedestal together, so you can see that all folds up in the end. So that's done. You were just talking about the wings, the feathers, and it's my favourite bit actually about the whole build, and the same with the Macaw, because we have individual feathers which all go together to make the wing. So again, made this one the other day, and I'll show you how that goes together. There's a little trick to this, because you see it's actually got a 3D shape to it. At the end of it, although everything starts off flat, you have to shape it to give it the body, or to fit it to the body of the peacock so it feels natural. So this is one of those occasions where I've gone through the instructions, I've identified all the pieces, and I've cut them out in the order I need to build with, because I find that really useful on this one. There's a really nice thing actually, which is that on the detailed steps, we've etched in numbers on every single part. So you can, as long as you follow the sequence, you're not going to be too far wrong, or not wrong at all, actually. So I've started joining some of these together. So this is the right wing, so I'm now working on the left. You'll see I've got another tool here. These are some really cheap high street tweezers. I use these are really handy for playing with the feathers and other things. And on the Battleship, I think they're actually essential. There are some components on that which will fit happily on my fingernail before they're bent. Wow, gosh. Which is really great fun to work with, but you need to keep your eyes open. Can I ask about the mat as well, or the tray that you've got the pieces in at the moment? I mean, how's the best way for you to work with these? This tray is actually in the pack. So it's oh, I see. It's part of the packaging. Yeah, oh, it's the back of box. I haven't opened up any of these boxes. Right. So. So I've just chucked some double-sided sticky tape on this, mainly to stop everything flying around. A cutting mat you don't have to have. What's really nice though is a dark cloth.
Okay.
If you haven't got a cutting mat, because none of these parts are sharp actually, and that's something which people have been asking me a lot. You know, surely there's, you know, is there any danger of being cut? The photo etching process leaves really nice soft edges, so I can happily do that. It's not sharp at all.
Okay,
which
that's
is
good to know.
Which is really nice. So you're not going to damage, if you're working straight on a table, you're not going to damage that. But a dark cloth is great because with the really small pieces, if you do drop them, you're going to see them straight away.
Okay, good tip.
I just happen to use a cutting mat. So building the wings is really straightforward. There's a lot of little bends to make. Now, one of the things is when you're cutting the feathers out of the sheets, it's worthwhile making sure that you cut the weakest part of the feather out first. Only just in case, you know, you drop something, you don't want the component to bend before you're ready to shape it. But because the metal's really thin, if you do bend it accidentally, it's really easy to smooth it out. But our advice is cut the weakest part first of all. So these again have all got to tab together, and what we need to do is on each feather, I've got to get this absolutely right. Yep, I need to bend one tab down and one tab up. So, and it's a 90-degree bend, and you can see I'm putting no effort into this whatsoever. I'm just lining the edges of the pliers up with the feather and then just rolling it over.
Okay. Oh yes, you can see those there, yeah.
Yep. I don't know if the cameras are picking this up, but
We
I've
are,
got
yeah.
feather number 5 going at feather number 4. They slot on, and now I need to bend them over. This little tool, which is in the auxiliary pack, is great. It's got a tiny little divot at the end of it. I think that's the technical word. And I just push the tab over there, roll it over, and again, push the tab.
So easy, that just pushing it over.
Yeah, it's great, and it's just such a satisfying way of building. You make lots of progress really quickly.
And this part that you're doing, it's quite repetitive, so I suppose once you've done the first couple, it's like, right, okay, and you can really get a move on with these.
You can, yeah. And the Macaw is exactly the same. I didn't build that model, my colleague and friend Sean did, and I think there are 80 feathers in that one. I haven't counted the peacock. But again, you know, it's really enjoyable. So
the feathers that you're working on at the moment, if I'm looking back at the main model and trying to identify them, they're on the wings, I think.
Yes, this is the
kind of the lower wing.
Yeah, the left wing of the model I'm working on at the moment. So I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to mount this first row of feathers onto the armature, which actually you'll never see on the finished model, but it fits into onto the body. And then and maybe what we can do is look at making some of the tail as well, because that's another really fun part of the build. There you go. And you can see how accurate the etching is here. These holes are minuscule, but every single time the tabs go in. I'm just going to put that one down. Sorry. Okay. One more feather.
It shows it perfectly there.
One more feather on the rope. And this one's a bend down. Boom. There we go. Push that over. There you go. So that's my row of feathers done. And that needs to slot onto here. So I'm going to cut the armature out. And as I showed you before, I'm looking for the little triangular pieces, and I'm putting the flat of the cutters up against the piece that I'm cutting out. So it's just clipping. That's going there. And now I have to confess, I need to check the instructions just briefly.
Well, I was just looking at the instructions, actually. I've just been very quietly trying to open one of the boxes up there, so I hope it didn't cause too much of noise there. But these details, honestly, it really does explain it well, because this is the key thing, isn't it? When you get it home, just as we've been seeing there from Ed, everything is detailed so well. Colour instructions as well, which I think is brilliant. Very much pictorial. So, of course, we were just learning how the stand was coming together. Well, in step 17, you'll learn how you bring the kind of the body of the peacock together there. But you are literally building these sections here, and you can see there where it's zooming in and showing you certain elements when you need to go in further detail with those. How all those little kind of little notches there slot into each other for all of these different elements there. And again, from the first step, which is creating the head, you are going to go right the way through. Now, of course, if you're wanting to, I'm guessing you can kind of jump in and do the stand first if you wanted to. But I personally, the way that I work with these is I do go from step 1 right the way through. And
definitely follow the steps.
Is that the best way to do it? And it kind of identifies the piece as you go there. So you can see here it's referring to certain pieces. So here it's referring to your board letter A, should I say there, and number 1, and so on. So you can really identify those pieces. I know personally the way that I work, and as Ed said, it's totally personal choice. You may want to decant all the elements and kind of have them all laid out, but I would struggle to kind of recognise them at that stage. So for me, I think it would be advantageous to leave them within the sheet and then kind of take them out as you get to those particular points, especially if it's a case that you're not going to be making it in one sitting. Maybe you're going to be coming away, and some of these will have quite a considerable amount of time for you to put these together. But of course, we're now working on the feathers. Then you can see exactly as Ed's been showing us how those feathers come together, locking in place as you go right the way through. So yeah, very, very good pictorial instructions there, nice and clear with those as well. With regards to these though, Ed, if we get kind of feel as if we're out of our water and we need a little bit of a kind of video to watch or anything like that, is there anything available?
There are a couple of videos on our Facebook, and we're adding more all the time.
Wonderful.
And people can reach out on Facebook to piececool UK, and also Instagram piececool UK, or just piececool, where you'll get the wider company as well. And everybody who works there is a mad keen builder of some sort, and we'd be more than happy to help out.
And I love it because it's kind of like an engineering mind with these, isn't it? So if as a child, perhaps you like to taking those little plastic bricks and putting all those bricks together. It's kind of that kind of hobby on a grown-up level.
Absolutely. But I think this appeals to a wider group of people as well. You know, it's I think bricks maybe has been a bit of more of a male thing historically.
Oh, me and my sister, we had a huge box of those little bricks when we were kids. We used to love it.
Right.
In fact, my mum and dad, well, my mum, should I say, still got them at her house now. So yeah, for when the grandchildren come round. That tray as well, I mean, just looking at the packaging, within the box, you see when your box comes to you, beautifully packaged, such a sturdy box. So straight away you can see the piece that you're going to be creating from this. And of course, there's lots of information on the back with regards to the elements that you've got. When you open it up, you've got that kind of area where the tray will be sitting. And what I found was when I actually, sorry, did that make an awful noise then? Sorry. There was a piece of paper that was kind of stuck on top of everything, keeping everything safe and secure. But then when you bring that out, that is the tray that Ed is working with, which I think is ingenious to use that as kind of your supportive element. And double-sided tape, I thought that's such a clever idea, running that across the top there to keep some of those pieces in place.
It's quick, easy, cheap.
Exactly, yeah.
And in fact, the cheaper tape's the best stuff to use because it's not sticky.
Ah, didn't overstick them. So of course your box key, the instructions, again, as you saw there, incredibly easy for you to work your way through, and obviously creating that fabulous model at the end of it, which is something that you are going to admire. I mean, when you get these and you put them together, when you see the finished article, I mean, here we've got the peacock and it's the feathers. It's just absolutely astounding the way it comes together. Let me just rotate this round for you again. Look at those gorgeous feathers on the back there with all the colouring. That's all screen printed on here, so you don't have to add any colour, you don't have to add any glue to this. It all slots together. Those little tabs kind of lock each of the layers in together, and of course then as you turn it round and you're creating the body and the wings, which is what Eddie's working on at the moment there. The gorgeous, I mean, it's so much detail. They've got very much a Victorian look about these pieces, haven't they? Absolutely beautiful. And then the body there as well, gorgeous. Ed, just to let you know, I can't believe I'm saying this, we've got about 10 minutes left.
10 minutes?
Time's flown by, hasn't it?
That's what happens when you're having fun with piececool.
It is indeed.
I will move on from the wing then, but you can see I've already done, in the time we've been talking, two rows of feathers, and these are all individual feathers. The final step of making the wing is to bend them, but I'm going to show you a bending technique on the tail now anyway.
Brilliant,
so
thank you.
It's a very similar thing. Move that. So the tail, or the peacock fan, is great. I think there are 11, 12 segments in this in total. And what you need to do is, it's a multi-step process. We have to add some shape into the feather, so as you can see on the model, all the feathers stand apart. And then once we've built the entire fan, we have to bend it and shape it to the body of the peacock. So
those bands, when they come together, can we see on the flip side of what you've got there, Ed? Did they kind of lock together in the same way that you showed us?
Everything's joined in exactly the same way. So even the back of this, which you're never going to see, is really nice to look at. I don't know if that's catching the light. And you can see here how the little tabs have gone through, and they're completely hidden on this side. I can feel them.
The next layer,
Yeah, I can feel them with my finger. So I'll just build one of these up quickly. So I'm going to cut this guy out. I think the fan is the piece where you need to pay the greatest attention when you're cutting out, just because there are so many mounting points for it. Hang on. Less haste, more speed, as my father would tell me. Hope he's watching. Right.
No, it's interesting to see this bit, because obviously you need to know it.
Yeah, there you go. So before we can join this onto this, we need to shape the feathers, and there's many ways to do it. You can just peel it between your fingers.
Oh, wow.
Ping things up like that. Another way let me just move that out of the way. Another way I like to do it, and I only discovered this when I was making a tutorial video for you guys actually the other night. If you just push down gently on the cutting mat.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like that, you start to get a little kick up, and you don't want a big bend in this, because we're trying to replicate something which is natural. And you can come back to it and adjust it on the finished model anyway. But that's enough. And then it's back to bending the tabs. So there are, I don't know if you're picking this up, there are 4 tabs on this one. So again, you take your needle nose pliers, you line them up as accurately as you can and just roll it over.
Oh yes, you can just see them there, yeah.
Actually, I'll show you how to use the other tool. So this is the tool with the slot, which is in the auxiliary tools. So I've just pushed that on the end.
Yeah.
Lever it up.
Oh, there it goes, yeah.
And the design team have been really careful to make sure that in nearly every single case we're looking just for a right angle bend. So it makes life simple. So there you go. So those 4 tabs have been bent up, and now all I need to do is to find the slots. He says they're minuscule. There you go.
That's popped into place. Wow, look at that.
One of them's popped out. Now there's 2 ways to join this. Again, I can use the tool. Hold on a second. It's popped out.
That's okay.
There we go. Right. Let me use it on here. Use the tool, and I'm going to turn this a quarter of a turn. That's all that's needed. If you don't do a quarter of a turn, it's not going to be firm enough.
So that's kind of locating onto that little pin that's sticking up there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did that using that tool, but again, if I just use the pliers, I can do it. One thing I like to do, and a lot of piececool builders like to do, is to always twist the same way. And the reason to do that is, in the unlikely event that one makes a mistake, if you've always turned the same way, you know that all you've got to do is turn it quarter turn back the other way to get the piece undone. So that is solid. Again, like all the other joins, that's rock solid. So to build the tail, it's just a matter, or the fan, it's just a matter of working through and carrying on like that. So I'll carry on and see how far we can get before the end and see if I can get to the point of shaping this.
Not a problem at all.
A little bit.
Now, of course, the details are on the screen for the colourful peacock, which is the one that Ed's working on here. And as he's shown you, it's so clever how these come together. They've been engineered to perfection. And of course, everything has been thought about by piececool. The way that these have been laser cut, the way that they've been etched, the way that they've been screen printed, which means that all you need to do is disconnect them from those main carrier sheets. And with this particular one, you've only got 5 carrier sheets with them. And step by step, you're building up the different elements to create this beautiful, almost mechanical looking peacock, which is going to look absolutely incredible when it's displayed. I mean, many of us have kind of display cabinets at home or a special area where you're going to be able to put something and showing it off to its fullness. And that's exactly what you could be doing with this one. You've got coppery tones in there, you've got the fine detail there of the body, the beauty that you can see of the kind of the peacock head and the crown there as well. Absolutely phenomenal, but there's no painting. You don't have to do anything with regards to this. It is all done for you. You're just slotting it all together, even to the point that that fabulous kind of perch that your peacock is sitting on is part of the kit that you've got as well. And that's the beauty of this. Now, obviously, this has been transported here as well, but when it is sitting at home, you can get it into exactly the position that you want and leave it. Could you imagine that with maybe like a glass dome over the top of it or something like that? Absolutely incredible. This is just one of the many kits that we've got for you. So if you like your birds, then do check out, we've got the fabulous Macaw. The black pearl is to the side of us, so shall I bring that in? It's probably the best idea, Marcus, not being funny, but yeah, if you can. I'm still terrified of touching anything, to be honest. Let me move those tools out of the way there. They are incredibly sturdy, but yeah, you can kind of hear the fear in my voice when they say,